I'd already drank a million beers, and,
For sure, yeah.
toured around the world. So I'd already ticked all the boxes, For me, it was just natural progression. All right, I need to stay in the industry that I'm in and focus on what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, you were good at putting on shows, so...
Yeah.
The old drummer from Regurgitator rang me and was like, mate, I've got a friend who's got a space, he can't make it work, he's a fucking old fella, he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
And I drove straight in. We were living on the Sunshine Coast, drove straight in, met with him, and he took me down into this like dark, cavernous venue space, and there was fucking graffiti everywhere, and it was fucked and cool. I was like, this reminds me of like an awesome showcasey type of venue in Brooklyn or
sure,
in Berlin or whatever. So I got really excited about it, and within a week I'd taken over managing the venue, and within 3 months had bought the venue. So there was a lot of trials in there. The owner owned a strip club, which was in the space that we're sitting in now. It was a porn store, strip club, peep show, hairdresser, multi-function
all
venue.
Things, yeah. Was that something that was like, I mean, obviously there would have been a lot of emotion and challenges coming from doing something for 7 years and then, ripping the Band-Aid off effectively, and then coming back home, and then, as you said, like having an engagement and a pregnancy, like there's obviously a lot of pressures there. Was there, what was like your drive, I guess, within you that sort of pushed for the venue to start up, or pushed for you to sort of get through that?
I think it's the absolute will to look after your family, and especially in something that you know how to do. So for me, I wasn't going to give up whether I was going to start again on $100 a week, or, there was no way I was going to go into a marketing job or a corporate job. That just wasn't me. No chance. So it was just almost like natural progression, seeing my baby daughter be born, to having this will to look after my family, but also realizing that I was in my 30s and I hadn't made a start in life besides the band. And I think a lot of people looked at that from the outside and were like, oh, you played in this big band, and you got the world at your fingertips. And that wasn't the case. You got to remember, when you leave a band that big, the walls that get thrown up are insane.
For sure.
My friendship group cut in half straight away. I lost sight of what people's motives were. I thought that all these people were my friends, and really, there was no phone calls. So I think between my fiance Tyler and myself, there was no way we weren't going to make it work, and I had to pull out a lot of old contacts and make a lot of phone calls, but they'd never had an international in the venue, and we had Darkest Hour playing here within the month. So
that's crazy.
It was just a great testament to see that I still had faith from a lot of people, around Australia to work with and build what I wanted to do.
And so when you first moved into the space, then I guess what was your, obviously from the graffitied kind of haggard little hall, where did it go from there for you mentally? Like, where did you envisage the room ending up like? Because I think to a lot of people that might sound like a weird question, but to someone who plays in a band, it's like one of the, and I've said this to you a lot, but like, and publicly, I fucking love this venue because it's like perfect for playing shows in. And I would like to know what drew your head to that before it.
Like I said, when I got in there, it was just a mess. There was a shitty little bar at the other end with these giant fridges. There was a riser for the stage. The PA was a vocal PA. And I think just through the years and touring, and, we'd take our own fucking PAs on the road.
Sure.
So you walk into a venue, man walks into a venue.
Yes.
And I was just like, that's got to be gone. We've got to fix that. We've got to change that. Strip these walls back. And we spent a good, 6 months developing the venue to make it what it is. So a good friend, Luke Henry, came in, who plays in Violent Soho.
Yep.
helped me build the stage, or he built the stage. I pointed.
You observed.
No, I lifted a few things. But no, he was a genius, and he's like, I can make this like this. And then I remembered these contacts that I had with production through other venues that I'd been in. I brought in all these great people that had always been around me, and I just hadn't realised, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I'd been so caught up in the touring world of, big bands and who are my mates with in what bands and whatever. Right. So you essentially become a little bit of a shit dude. I think the bigger your band gets, the less tolerance you have for people. And
but I think as well with that, and not excusing people for being cunts, but like I think there is a point as well where when you're doing stuff like that a lot, you're so wrapped up in the ideas you have and the like various goals you have going and the people you need to talk to, that there's so many fucking people that you start forgetting about.
That's right.
These people that are helpful and these people that are awesome and these people that are your mates, and it sort of just slips a little bit to the side while your focus is
exactly
ahead,
So once that was out of my life, I got to rebuild all those friendships again with all the people that had helped me become the person that I was. And people like Shane Collins, who I've been friends with since I was 16 years old. Every time I'd do something stupid, he'd come to me and be like, what are you playing in that band for? Like, I did a rap project with Aaron, and I think I remember him like threatening me at a bar, like, you're the guy who showed me Piebald. Like, why are you playing in this band?
Sure.
And you know what? It was just great to. I just felt like myself again. I was standing at the door collecting tickets, and I had all these kids coming up going like, "What you fucking quit the band for?" And I heard this, and I heard that, and I read this, and I was like, this is great. Like, I need to hear this shit. This is humbling, and it put me back on a level, and just created that desire to build the venue even more. So switching that mindset of the venue owner just being, the big fat pig counting his money, do this, do that. I was like, no, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to serve beers. I quit drinking, quit smoking, and I just, like I said, that desire was just so strong to make it a band's venue.
Yeah.
And having toured and whatever, I could see what bands wanted, I could see what needed to happen to make it like an art house, or like a St. Vitus in Brooklyn, or those places that people really feel comfortable in as a band member. And also from a punter's perspective too. So
I think so. And I think that sort of, I'm not just here to blow smoke up your ass, but I do love your venue. So, I think it is really important. I think it's one of those things that like you really take for granted when you're playing in a band, when you're playing a lot of shows or whatever. And I mean, it's not so much a big deal anymore in Australia because everything's so disparate and it takes a long time to get to wherever. But then again, that is sort of there as well, that like when you have driven for fucking 8 hours or 12 hours or whatever, when you get to the place, you don't want to get there and be disappointed. Like, you don't want to get there and be like,
sometimes you're locked out till they fucking get there, and that's the beauty. You walk into Crowbar, there's a jug of beer for you, there's a rider for every band, I was so used to going to these fucking clubs and getting one drink card, when we were starting out. It's just like, well, we pulled 500 people in your venue and you're giving me one drink.
Yeah.
There's this hierarchy of people, and, now people come direct to me as the venue manager, venue owner, and say, hey, we're not happy about this. And I already knew it. Like, I'd already changed that perception and changed that ideal of... I remember when I Exist first came through with Black Breath that time, and I think we were all bloody drunk before lunchtime.
I think the last 3 times I've been here, that's been the case.
And look, drinking isn't obviously the way, but forming those relationships with people where you can sit down and have a drink and talk about the road and experiences, that means a lot to a band when you get to a venue.
I think there's a stark... I saw that difference in when we came here on that tour, say, where like we obviously already knew you, or obviously already friends with you, but to be able to bring someone who have flown from the other side of the earth and they arrive at a place and they're not like hating their life before they do the thing that they love doing. When they're there, they're like, oh fuck, this is sick. You know, like that's a really empowering thing, especially for, and I'm sure people don't think about this, but for a musical performance, if you're fucking filthy and hate your life before you do it, you're probably going to play worse than if you were a little bit pissed because you've been having fun for the last 4 hours.
You know, there's always that fine line too before a show turns into a party, and I think that's where we've created a great system where, you know, I think bands understand the shows are selling out, everything's professional about it, but hey, we are approachable. You can find the venue manager.
Yeah.
You can get change for your merch. You know, you do get a rider.
For sure.
You know, we are helpful with loadouts, and you know, we used to have loaders for a minute, but you know, it's something that we'll get back, and just adopting that European model of
just a place where that sort of stuff is. I mean, I guess that's another thing as well, where like over in places like Europe and America, that's sort of ingrained in the musical like culture over there, because you can play 15 shows in Germany, you know, and like them all be a really big show, whereas here you can play 5 or 6, you know, in the major city centres. And
I think that comes a lot down to our government. You'll find a lot of those European countries, you know, Brussels, you know, in Belgium, for example, there's a grant that goes to venues to help them buy riders and make sure that bands have accommodation and food. And you know, here I just get more bills. If I want to put on a band, I have to pay, you know, a live performance fee. Then I'm going to pay the APRAs, and I'm going to pay the rent and the water, and you know, it is frustrating at times that, you know, we don't get the support back from the government for the culture that we're creating.
For sure.
But, you know, and they have that in Europe. Not so much in the States, but Europe especially. So
really switched on with it.
Yeah, it's a fine balance for us, you know. We don't want to send ourselves broke, but we want to create that circuit. And I think the sooner Australia wakes up to that model, the sooner you will be able to play, you know, 30 shows in Australia. We're a big fucking country. There's no reason why, you know, only the bigger bands can get to do it. So.
Yeah. When was the decision for you to take the thing below us to where we are sitting now? Like, what was the impetus to make this just a bar as well?
Well, I think that's... for me, I was working my ass off and only really getting 4 nights of trade between, you know, 8 and 12, and occasionally we'd get through till 3 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of Fortitude Valley, you know, it's not fucking cheap. So,
Well,
the venue was successful. I felt like it was also held back by a lot of things, and one of those things was, you know, before show and after show trade.
Sure.
So I had a couple of great friends around me who, you know, encouraged me to go ahead with it. I think, you know, you were one of them, and you know, the Dave Haleys and whatnot of the world, and I just had this vision. Again, walked up here and I was like, well, fucking get rid of that peep show area and acoustic stage. And that was the other thing, creating another platform for music to be free in, you know, and that's free entry to this bar all the time, before and after shows. So you can come here at 5 o'clock and hang out with your mates, have a band meeting in an environment where the money goes back to the bartender, who's going to buy you merch, you know, who we pay as well, and it keeps it's just this fucking awesome circle that we have here.
Well, I mean, like as I said, when the last time, 2 times I Exist came here, and this was a shell of a room, and you brought us up here, like, I think everyone in I Exist was like, holy shit, like, this is fucking so sick. Like, the venue we love now, it's going to be a bar too. Like, but it's really, I mean, it is empowering for me as someone who, like, I'm obviously slightly younger than you and sort of have different, you know, my life is moving in different ways, but it is really awesome to see people that you work with and you're friends with, and that, like, this shit happens, because it does, I feel like it does show that regardless of what the government's putting grants into, or regardless who's doing what, there still is hope for people doing shit on their own terms, you know? Like, I think
To be honest, a lot of the venue is actually just straight common sense. A lot of our age group was born between sort of like 75 and 95 type of thing, who encompass the genres that we love. A lot of those people own their own businesses, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And what music did they grow up with? They didn't grow up with brutal techno, you know. We grew up with the surf videos and the Slayers and the Maidens.
For sure.
You know, so for us that was really important to encompass all of those genres, whether it be grunge, you know, black metal, for example, and everything in between. So it's, common sense, really. Fucking.
So was taking on, I mean, obviously running a bar and running a venue are two totally different beasts.
Yep.
So was, I mean, obviously setting up this room was an enormous process for you guys. Like,
yes, it was
a very heavy undertaking.
Yes.
But so what was the mindset that you had to take then as someone who had come from touring and, you know, booking venues and then running your own venue? What did you have to change then to now run a bar?
Well, you actually have to treat it a little bit like running a band, to be honest. And I do, you know, my band are my staff are my bandmates, essentially. Sure. And, you know, we do day trips to Dreamworld, and, you know, for our staff parties, we set up laser tag. And, you know, it's all about, like I said, treating it as a band. So there's so many elements to running that band, from booking it to the songs to, you know, touring. And it's the same with the venue, is you have to consider all of these things. So you have to consider what beer people drink as to how much beer you're going to sell to make enough money to pay the rent, to give a band a guarantee, so there's, you know, there's booking agents, there's bar managers, there's I think we're up to about, including contractors, around 15 staff at the moment. And, you know, starting from me and two other people. So
it's crazy.
It's an absolute beast, but I think delegation is really important, you know, when you're actually trying to achieve things. And it's always hard to delegate on your dream. Because you're trying to make people think the same way you do. But I think it's just about be a good fucking dude. Common sense.
And find a balance between being the guy that runs it and being the, you know, the mate for the masses as well. Then
and, you know, we still come in and we still hang out with our favourite bands and watch new bands, and we're still a part of that process, and you don't lose sight of that. I think that's the most important thing.
And so, like, where do you, like, what's your goal then for this, you know, like, this is a fucking awesome big thing now, you know, like, this is a thing that people want to come here to do, this is what people want to be a part of, what people want to come and film a fucking podcast in.
Exactly.
But, you know, like, where do you see things going for you guys from here then?
You know what, there's still a few creases we need to iron out. And always have offers to take Crowbar to new places, and that's something I really look forward to looking into in the future. I mean, it's not right now, but to have the system that I can pick up and put in other cities that does look after the bands and, you know, creates a scene and you know, everything that we are involved in, that's possibly the dream for us. So you know, it's not just this that we do, you know, we have merchandise and, you know, there's so many other elements to the business that, you know, I think are just really, really important parts of branding and shit like that. I don't even want to go into it.
There's so many other things.
So many other things. But yeah, ideally another one or two venues around Australia would be the dream.
Yeah, awesome. And so how then do you see things working here, like in Brisbane then, for you from now? Like, I mean, obviously, like, as you've said, like, this is a venue for bands and this is a bar for people to spend time in that they want to enjoy being in. But, like, how do you see that culture changing in Brisbane at all, or in this area? Like,
It's only been growing for us, and I think it's becoming accessible to all of those people, and I do some weird marketing things sometimes, and it's like, I think where we're genuine is that we're actually trying to get the fans of this music in here to keep it alive. You know, it's not no one here is going, I'm going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
It's to keep the venue alive, and undertaking those processes, like doing massive poster campaigns amongst bus shelters and stuff. I couldn't even fucking dream of that, when I first started booking shows. It's just continuously building. I've finally been able to step away from booking the venue full time. Mm-hmm. So I'm just part of a collective of people that book the venue now that we've hired. And I get to oversee and delegate and help the business move forward.
Sure.
Keep the lights on and keep it moving.
And so I guess then as well, like the other sort of part of that I would think important is that how has all of this, worked well within or challenged you then in your personal life? Like obviously, as you said, you have a fiance and you have a child. Like how has that been something that's affected you through that?
It's been pretty fucking hard.
I can imagine.
But, I have a very, very supportive family, and I think that's probably one of the most important elements of the conversation is your support network behind you. And I think if the right people are behind you always, you're always bound to do great things. So,
sure.
Tyler, my fiance's mother, she will come and look after Winter while we go do our work that we have to do here. And, she understands the process of where we're at in life, trying to build a business and create a future for our child. So,
for sure.
And also Tyler being a part of the business, I have a second me to rely on, and just this incredible support network.
Yeah, it's amazing.